Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the fasting state, a comprehensive note, because the fasting is very important for the normal physiology and the glucose drop during the fasting, insulin deficiency, and the glucagon increase, and epinephrine increase, as well as sympathetic nervous system later on increase, and fat loss, growth hormone increase due to the deficiency of insulin, and the leptin increase while the ghrelin will be decreased for the appetite suppression in later on. This is the person whenever the food will not eat during the fasting state, the pancreas will trigger to produce glucagon, because the glucagon in the islet of Langerhans contain alpha cell, but the beta cell will inhibit the alpha cell during the eating time during the fat state, while the alpha cell produce glucagon due to the hypoglycemia, low level of the glucose in the blood. After this glucagon production, which that will target to the muscle for glycogenolysis and liver for the glycogenolysis, but we are just understanding after the glycogenolysis, the adipose tissue increase the lipolysis. In this, the triacylglycerol in the form of stored fat through a gene activation to hormone sensitive lipase enzyme to split the free fatty acid and glycerol from the triacylglycerol. This fatty acid basically increase the low density lipoprotein in the blood circulatory system, and cholesterol will lead to hyperlipidemia and hypercholesteremia. After this, the free fatty acid basically will go into the liver, but also during the before the going into the liver and lipolysis, the glycogenolysis will occur, will lead to increase the hepatic glucose output, and in this the glucagon is important and play important role for the increase of the increased hepatic glucose output into the blood, so for normal glucose level, while the free fatty acid will enter into the liver into the hepatocyte, the acetyl CoA conversion in the mitochondria, and in this way the Krebs cycle will occur. But on the other hand, the free fatty acid also can convert into the glucose when the glucose deficiency after the complete glycogenolysis, and the acetyl CoA will also convert into the acetoacetyl CoA and the HMG CoA enzyme, which that will convert the acetoacetyl CoA into the acetoacetate. This is the acetoacetate is the ketones body, while the gluconeogenesis will occur through free fatty acid to convert the glucose, and after this in the mitochondria in the glycolysis, glucose will convert into the pyruvate, and this pyruvate will convert into the acetyl CoA and go into the mitochondria for aerobic respiration. But anyhow, this acetoacetate will convert into the beta hydroxybutyrate. This is the important ketone, and it can be reversed when we will eat something, an acetone conversion from the acetoacetate, and this is the ketone bodies. This keto acid will convert from the beta hydroxybutyrate, and the proteolysis will enhance the keto acid, and these ketones, all type of ketones will be entered into the blood circulatory system. Annual, let's understand about when the glucose, hepatic glucose increase output will be entered into the blood circulatory system, and in this way, the hyperglycemia. This hyperglycemia will lead to activation also chronically. If the hyperglycemia will lead to macrophage activation, so the hyperglycemia is very danger, so fasting will lower the glucose level. In this way, that will lead to very important and functional protein will occur. We will discuss later on. So this macrophage will produce the cytokines like tumor necrosis factor and interleukin 6 and 1 beta, and in this way it will be triggered possibly to the beta cell of the pancreas, will lead to diabetes mellitus type 1, will damage the beta cell of the pancreas. But anyhow, the hyperglycemia should not good. So that is why. On the other hand, the ketones will increase the acidity, so acidosis due to the low pH. Ketoacidosis will chronically. So, but it is chronically ketones production. So that is why the longer period of fasting is not good. Anyhow, the acetone, the small breathing will occur, will lead to ketones breathe out during the pulmonary circulation. So the blood will enter into the lungs and the pulmonary circulation. The exhale ketones because it is light and evaporate easily. So that is the benefit for the lipolysis will lead to decrease more fat. The adipose tissue will be enter into the go into the liver, and it will convert into the glucose, but the glycogen also convert into the glucose through glycogenolysis first the initial time, but the gluconeogenesis occur due to the lipoprotein will also produce glucose is known as the gluconeogenesis. And on the other hand, the kidney, which that is the ketonuria and glycosuria will occur if the too much glucose for the diabetic person, but the polyuria will lead to dehydration. But remember, for normal person, it will not work, and normally it can be healthy. In the muscle, the acetyl CoA will use in the Krebs cycle, but the protein will be degraded to amino acid, and in this way, the proteolysis will occur, will lead to acetoacetate production also, and amino acid go into the liver, and the gluconeogenesis will produce again glucose. That is the gluconeogenesis will occur for the normal glucose level, very important thing, and will lead to no need more glucose uptake exogenously because endogenously working, and glucose uptake in blood will normally function, and that is the benefit for fasting, and in this way the lipolysis will trigger. In summarization, the fasted state, glycogenolysis will lead to glucose normal in blood, while during the hypoglycemia, the lipolysis to increase the gluconeogenesis in liver, glucose normal in blood will lead to beta oxidation of fats rather than the using of the glucose as energy. And in this way, the ketogenesis in liver will occur rather than the glucose using in the brain. So the brain will prefer the ketones more and muscle also. So anyhow, let's understand about the significance of the fasting. So why the fasting is too much healthy? If we will work properly, like short duration of fasting like 16 hours, in fasting state glucose drop again and again, and gluconeogenesis again recover within the endogenously and not bind more with blood proteins, so glycoproteins deficiency and the free a non-conjugated protein work normally and properly for a normal physiology of the body and decrease the aging like signaling and protein and structural protein will lead to collagen formation and skin health and functional protein. In this way, the major ketones will be used as energy while the glucose will remain in the blood for normally. But the beta hydroxybutyrate, which that will important for metabolism, and keto acid come from the protein, acetone come from the lipolysis, acetoacetate and alpha ketoglutarate come from the Krebs cycle and the lipolysis, and ketones more will lead to efficient source of energy than glucose. Lightweight and brain prefer more, but the brain will use the ketone while the glucose will be normal and not bind with the protein. The conjugation will not occur with the protein, the glycoprotein will not form, so the free protein is more functional and work more, and the gene silencing mechanism inhibit by this mechanism. I hope you make sense about the fasting state. This was about the fasting state, about the lipolysis and how it can be decrease the inflammation and how it can be decrease the fat in the stored fat, because the stored fat will lead to low grade inflammation, will lead to cause aging. So it will be prevent the aging as well as live a healthy and agile. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.